Okay, pentatonic scales. They're used in all kinds of music. But basically, if you want to know what they are, it's a mode. Okay, so it's a pentatonic mode, and there are other modes, but this is the one that really works for blues and rock and roll. It's basically the black keys on the piano. If you played just the black keys, that would be a pentatonic scale. Now, on the guitar, we refer to them as boxes, like a pentatonic box, because it's a shape or a pattern that we play on the fingerboard. So I'm going to start with what I call the long box. I'm going to start up here at the 8th fret with my little finger. So it's 8, 5, first string, working our way down. 8, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5. I'm just going to end it there. You could go all the way down to the 6th string, but that wouldn't make sense. You'd be better off just changing position and going to lower frets on the lower strings. So let me just play this again. So that's 8, 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5. You want to get really comfortable with that. Also ascending. Now I'm using my little finger for the stretch, but to me it's not a stretch. So my philosophy is if you got a finger there at the fret, they just lay out, then that's the finger you should use. That would be also kind of classical. But a lot of the rock and rollers, they would stretch and they'd play this 8 with their 3rd finger. Now I don't have as big a hand as a lot of those guys, but they might go 8, same notes but just different fingering. 3, 1, 3, 1, and then they'd be 2, 1 here, 2, 1, or make the conversion over. So whichever you want to do. Me personally, I have no problem using my little finger. And that's the long box, okay? Now, as I mentioned, there's other boxes. So if we want to connect that to the one that I call the B.B. King box, because it's basically the only notes he plays, that would be 10, 8, 10, 8, 9. And that's it. 10, 8, 10, 8, 9. And here I'm using 3rd, 1st, 3rd, 1st, 2nd. And that 2nd can kind of hang there as you're playing the other notes, okay? So, like B.B. King style. What I just did there was connect the two boxes. So the 10, 8, 10, 8, 9, you want to get it so you can go from that shape to the long shape effortlessly and smoothly. So as we know, there are 5 parameters of music, and the one that's going to help you do this is slides. So you're going to slide into and out of these different boxes. And there's obviously bends, so you're going to use bends when you're soloing. And then you're going to add what we call blue notes. So that's a note that's not in the pentatonic scale. So for example, if I'm up here at the 10th fret, right? So if I go 11, that little half step note is like a blue note. Okay, so down here, right there's a Rolling Stone solo. So you can figure out, use your ear. just add other notes that aren't in the natural pentatonic scale to make it more interesting and cool. And as far as practicing, I mean, you could just lay down a 1-4-5 chord progression and just solo over it. Okay? So if we look at this, back to this long box, those pitches right there, when I go up to the next shape, the 10-8, that 10th fret is the only new note. Okay? Because they share the 8th fret of the first and the second string, and that 10th fret second string is the 5th fret. So it's not about having a lot of pitches at hand. It's about making them do what you want them to do, and to be musical and use the parameters like bends, hammer-on, slides to connect these guys. So if you're going up higher on the neck, okay, it'll be 12, 10, 11. Sorry, that's 13. 12, 10, 13, 10 to 12. And then 12 would have to go where? Down to 9. So that's, when you're fingering up here, that's a bit of a stretch. So that's why you would make the shift on a higher string. So we want to extend it lower, as I mentioned earlier, there's a blue note. I would go here from the 5th fret, 5th string, down to the 3rd fret of the 5th string. There's you go to your lowest E. Kind of mechanical, but it just shows, you know, little exercises like that, or just try to come up with something new every day using the shape. But the first thing you have to do, it's like if you were playing a 3-chord progression and you couldn't play the chords, you know, quickly or evenly, then you're going to have a hard time making it sound like a song. And that's why we learn our chords, you know, and get so we can put them down, no problem, you know. So it's the same thing here with doing lead guitar. You need to use these shapes and your ear to help you. Now, right here, when I started at the 8th fret, this works. They have a major and a minor key. So this will work for C major or its relative minor, which is A minor. So just think of that highest note. If that's a C on the long box, that's what we're talking about here. That's a C, works in the key of C. Okay? We came down 1 fret. That would be the key of B. Down another fret. B flat. A. And as we get down there, it's stretching more and it's harder to play. A flat. And then here is the one that all the blues guys use, because a lot of them will play in the key of E because it's an easier key, and now we have the nut to take the place of fretting, so it's 3 open, 3 open, 2 open, 2 open, 2 open, 3 open, and that's the E pentatonic scale right there. So 3 open, 3 open, 2, 2, 2, 3. But that's actually the same thing as it's just a different key. So you have to learn, you know, which shouldn't be that hard, where to move to get different keys. And the cool thing about the pentatonic boxes are that once you get them down at one place, just moving it for a different key, like key of D, be there because my highest pitch is a D. And just like we did for that E, if we go all the way up here to start on E, that's where they would solo up the neck. And then that means the shape. Now we're running out of room here, but you know, electric guitars have plenty of room with their cutaways. So anyway, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe, like, if on, I know I keep going back to this one shape because this is the one that I personally base the other ones off of. See how I just slid up there? So I'm connecting those two via the third string. You could do it different places. It's just about how, if you were doing a quick lick, how would you get from this shape to this shape smoothly and cleanly? So that's kind of up to you to, you know, think about it and use the fingering that works best for you. See, and there was kind of hanging on to that note. So you can, you know, get the pitches in the order the way that you want them. But they're basically 5 notes, and then you throw in those blue notes that just make it sound cool and not so ordinary or boring. Okay? So I hope that helps you out.